say hi? Come here. Come here. You're all muddy. Wanna say hi? Say hi. Look right here. Look, Willow. Look. Say hi. No? Okay. Whatever. Hi. So, I was just looking at myself in the camera, and coincidentally, I'm wearing the same getup as I was the last time. Oh shoot. The sheep are over by the pond. Not supposed to happen right now. Oh well, let's just cross our fingers they don't step on my plastic. I think they'll be fine. I'll run them out in a minute. Willow, you forgot to shut the gate. She never listens. Anyways, so I've actually pulled one of the tarps off of one of the beds out there, and mainly because the wind was doing that for me, and I just didn't feel like fighting it. But anyways, I pulled the tarp off, and I actually put a few chickens out there. I don't remember how many. I think it's around a dozen in one of my chicken tractors. Excuse me. And yeah, I'm having them finish clearing that one bed, just because like the angle of the land, the wind was just going right up under the tarp, and there wasn't any amount of wood that was going to hold it down. I mean, I'm sure that's kind of stretching it, but I wasn't about to cover the whole area with wood. So yeah, pulled the tarp off, put chickens on it. They're slowly cleaning out the grass. That's when I realized it's pretty much all wiregrass, so that's going to be fun. So I'm just crossing my fingers and praying that the compost and everything kind of suppresses that stuff for next year. So right now I'm moving some of this dead stuff that the chickens in the main coop haven't eaten, and I'm getting some compost, and I'm putting compost on top of the ground after the chickens have been moved. So I'm leaving them there for 3 days so they really scratch it up, and then I'll pull them forward a section to new grass or whatever, and put about 2 inches of compost down where they were, and I'm just slowly covering that whole plot. But yeah, show you a little time lapse of what I'm doing. So real quick, one quick thing that I do want to mention is I'm not going to be sifting this compost. I know Paul in a lot of other videos, he said he likes to sift his chicken run compost. Personally, I don't, especially if it's just going out like this to act as the ground cover, because this little bit of roughage and stuff is actually going to rise up and sit at the surface, and that's going to act as my ground cover, and then the compost will be right under it, which is where the roots will be. So I'm leaving it. It's not going to make it any harder for me to plant in. I guess another reason why he does it is because he direct sows a lot of his stuff. This year, just because I'm trying to intensively plant, not really going to be direct sowing much, so I'll be plugging in plants that I've started in seed trays. Just make it a whole lot easier for me, and I'll get more out of the garden space in one season. And that semi-broken down roughage, or whatever you want to call it, unfinished compost, I guess, the microbes in the soil will actually, they'll finish composting it, and that'll help feed them, so it creates another environment for them to live in. So yeah, now I'm gonna fill up the wheelbarrow. the garden. Alright, so I just got out to the garden area, out of breath. I don't think you can see it in the frame, but the chicken coop's about 100 yards over there. It's cold out and it's a slight uphill slope to the garden area. So, as I'm catching my breath, now I've got to go catch the sheep, or at least run them out of this little gate. And they're right over there. I think it'd be a little easier to go this way. Willow! Okay, so Willow's learning. She's not the best at rounding up the sheep, so that didn't work. I'm gonna leave them for now. Get done doing what I'm doing, and then I'll have to turn the camera off and get them out. So, I'm gonna get the compost over there. Alright, so I just realized I didn't talk about that giant stump over there. That was a big old 3-foot wide at the base flowering cherry tree that Paul had out by the pond, and it was over like 40 feet tall, and then one day he just decided it's coming out, so he cut it down. Carol was kind of upset because she loved that tree, but yeah, he cut it down. The stump was there. It's going to be in the way of the garden, so yesterday I dug it out. That was a job, but it's out, so now I've got a nice empty clean spot. I'm happy. Now spread some compost. One more thing, along the fence to the pasture, I took a spade shovel and I cut the grass and I dug it out a little bit, and that'll kind of help prevent the grass from the pasture creeping into the garden. I will take the weed eater and like edge up the garden once a week just to make sure it stays nice and clean. I can't stand when grass creeps into a garden. Ideally I'd put wood down, but I'm not doing all that. So, to the compost. So 1 wheelbarrow down, 2 to go. Back to the coop.